Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Broyans Farm. Today's a big day because we're not only hoping to get some potatoes out of the ground, but also plant some garlic into the ground using this tractor right here. This is actually not ours, this is our cousin's, but it works really well to plant garlic. The reason for that is we plant garlic around 5 to 8 inches apart. Ideally, it's like 6 or 7. But we have no like clicker on our machine to say exactly 6 inches. So we're just planting it almost as fast as we can with one guy on each side of the machine, which I'll show you here in a little bit. But this tractor goes very slow, slower than all of our tractors. So that helps, slow down the process a little bit so we're not going as fast as possible. So what we need to do first to get this tractor ready for our fields is turn these tires around because right now they're just too wide. So when we flip this tire onto this side and this one onto this side, it makes those wheels closer into the tractor, making it easier for it to fit inside of our rows. I told you in my last video that I was gonna tell you how we did at market. We ended up not doing too bad for a Monday this late in the season. Sold about 12 bags of potatoes. All those crates are empty, all the cauliflower's empty, over half a bin of cabbage. And then here's obviously some ornamentals and gourds, potatoes that we brought back. But all this stuff is really nice. It's nice and cool, so it's not gonna hurt anything. The cabbage we're actually going to take back off and put in the cooler so it stays even cooler, and everything else is probably just going to stay on here until we're ready to go to market again. I don't know if you can see it, but right out there above my finger is Dad and Frank picking some cauliflower and cabbage for the farm market right now. And then so hopefully later on in about an hour or two, my grandma and Pat Huffman are going to come out. They're going to help peel some garlic, not actually peel, but just like break the toes apart for planting. When planting garlic, you don't plant the whole bulb. There's like usually around 4 to 7 toes, on average like 5 to 6. In a bulb of garlic, you break that apart and then you plant the root side down about 2 inches below the surface, and your garlic's ready for the spring. I did a bunch already yesterday at market. They're tomatoes. Here is the remnants of the garlic after I'm done peeling it. Here's like the main stem, and then here's like all of the shell. And then over here is where the good toes are. We like to plant our biggest, nicest garlic in our fields. That way it has the best chance of growing nice the following year. And as you can see, the toes are very nice. That one's actually a little bit smaller. But this is ideally what we want to be planting in the ground right here. And again, once Mom and Dad and everybody get back here and we start that job, I'll show you what's going on there as well.
Well, I looked for that cat all the time down there. I never took an hour. I'm totally thrilled. But I just about got the whole upstairs done. In behind everything.
Whoop. We finished up the cabbage. Now we're gonna try and get some cauliflower. We're actually over halfway done. We started there at the end of the field and only got to right here and like these upper 3 rows, and you can see how much longer the field is. Out in the middle we got it cut pretty hard, but there's still a lot left. There is a little bit of frost damage, like this guy right here. I don't know if you can see that with the sunlight, but there's some dark patches there. So we're gonna let that go. But for the most part, they're perfect yet. Like that one.
I'd like to get some purple, but we don't want to run through that, do we?
No, what do we have, like 5 or 6 trays left?
No, 3. Oh, 4 or 5. Okay. I was thinking maybe I could get them in the morning when I get tail.
Yeah, if that's what you want to do.
Little guy.
Finish off this load, we're gonna get some collards. We left 3 trays empty just because we're gonna get purple in the morning. Probably only get 3 in a crate.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think 3 is there. You're gonna really squish them if you don't, or if you do put more than 3. So I'm just getting up here a little bit too late. Dad just finished digging the last of the Norwest for the year. So now that only leaves us with 2 rows of Eva, which is a white potato, and 2 rows of dark red Norland, which is the red, all the way up by soybeans. If you've been following along with my videos, you'll know that the Norwest isn't quite as pretty of a potato, but it's quite a bit larger than the Evas. Normally, this year we had some big Evas too. They're a little bit like bumpier, but a very good eating. Yellow potato, not white. Days. So this is all the garlic we have left. Frank's going through it right now, picking out the nicest ones for planting, and then the rest we'll just cut and sell across the table at market. We only need 125 more. You see the whole pile of tops. Over here is stuff that's already done and cleaned, but we're not going to take them. We're not going to plant, but that's going to go to market.
Work over here and then come in here. Because boy, does that vine get in your way when you're going like this.
So we got out here about an hour ago to plant. Here's all of our toes. This is the field. Now the whole field is not for garlic. About 3/4 of it is, and then just like this year, next year we're gonna plant sunflowers in the lower portion. We got 4 rows done so far. 1, 2, 3, right here is the 4th one we just got finished. And if you're planting at home, what we go for is, well, this we measured is around 6 inches. So I'll take this back a little bit. Here's 1 bulb, which was a little bit sideways. And now that was pretty far. Now, it's not always perfect, but that's actually about probably 9, 10 inches. What we're trying to do is plant 6, oh, never mind, right here's one. Okay. So now it's actually a little bit close, but either way, you want them about 6 inches apart ideally. You could go a little more, you could go a little less, depending on how much room you have. And then you want to put, obviously, the root side of that toe down, just like so. And you want the top of it buried underneath the surface about 2 inches. You can go 3, you can probably go 1, but if you go any more than that or any less than that, you have a chance of it pushing it out with the frost, or being too deep to where it's not going to grow. So we found around 2 inches covered is around perfect. And I'm not exactly sure the length of the rows, but we're getting, Dad figured, around 1,000 toes in a row. So by the time we're done here, we should have just about 10 to 12,000 toes in the ground. Good. So we're calling it quits for tonight. We've only got about an hour till dark. We have about 4 rows yet to go. We did 8. We're gonna do 12 altogether, or just about 12, depending on how much seed we have. But we have about 45 baskets, I think, of potatoes to go pick up. Not actually pick up, but Frank already got them in baskets. We gotta go load them. Then we gotta go inside, wash our onions, and then by then it's gonna be way past dark. So we're just gonna quit and start again tomorrow. We just finished up. It just got dark about a half hour ago. Here's the onions my pap and my Uncle Rick got shucked. Then we also washed a couple more over here. We got Frank's potatoes picked up, got them binned. That's the last of the Norwest now for the season. So it's the next morning. I'm out here in the last patch of our cole crops. Last field, last patch, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna get some kale. Today is Wednesday, which means we're going to the Scranton Farmers Market again. And I've explained this before, but like I always say, if you're new, how we harvest kale is, obviously it grows on like a pretty thick stalk. We don't just cut the whole stalk off. What we do is we cut each leaf. That way the stalk can keep growing and we can keep getting more leaves later in the season. Now, it is getting cooler, so it's not growing near as fast as it normally would, but I'm still gonna do what we normally do, and let's just harvest the leaves. Once we know the kale is done growing, what we'll do is then cut the whole top out of the plant, because then it is done growing for the season. But I just think it's a little bit early for that, especially seeing as we have another 60, like 2-degree day coming tomorrow. Depending on how big the leaves are, is how big I will make the bunches. I'll just throw a rubber band up over it. And that's it right there. So yesterday when Dad, Frank, and myself were out here picking, we said we were gonna come back out this morning for purple. That's what I'm doing right now. Also, I'm getting some for Mom for the farm market. Here's the white I got from my mom for the farm market, kale for today, and the purple for today. So we just got the truck loaded. We have a bin and a half of cabbage, still some pumpkins left, potatoes, here's like more onions, we have some green tomatoes and some pinks, a whole pallet of bagged 50 pounders, red and white, whole pallet of cauliflower, mostly white, a couple purple. Here's the purple cauliflower that I just picked. And then, you know, some more odds and ends, peppers, potatoes, whatever. And so that's what I'm gonna call it a wrap for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and always remember it ain't much, but it's honest work.